So this video I will make without face cam. So let's begin the video. So basically this video is about why do some plants follow C4 cycle. If you haven't watched my video about Calvin cycle, then first watch that video before seeing this video. So why do some plants follow C4 cycle? Now in Calvin cycle video I have told you one thing, that chloroplast contains a substance called rubilin biphosphate. Now rubilin biphosphate has a main function in that chlorophyll it is present, and it has a main function to fix carbon dioxide to form glucose. Now carbon dioxide is a 1 carbon atom molecule, and glucose is a 6 carbon molecule, as we can say C6H12O6, so it is a 6 carbon molecule. So RuBP is a 5 carbon molecule which helps in fixing of carbon dioxide. But RuBP has one limitation, it can also fix oxygen along with carbon dioxide. So that process of fixing of RuBP, fixing the oxygen, is called photorespiration. So why plants follow C4 cycle? Now as I want to tell you one more thing. As we know, the main purpose of C3 cycle or any photosynthesis cycle is the production of glucose. But RuBP plus O2 also somehow leads to formation of glucose, as RuBP plus O2 converts it into phosphoglyconate, which gets converted to glyconate, which gets converted to glucose. But there is a limitation in the process. A lot of energy and a lot of time is being wasted in this process. So there is a lot of ATP loss in the process. So this process is not preferred by the plants. So instead of this process, C4 cycle is followed. And this process, photorespiration, I am going to explain in this video in detail. So how this occurs? Basically, it occurs in the chloroplast. Now how it occurs? Normally we say C3 cycle occurs only in chloroplast, but photorespiration occurs in chloroplast, peroxisome and mitochondria. So let me tell you in detail about this. So what happens? Basically RuBP or rubilin biphosphate combines with oxygen, as I have told you earlier that it combines with oxygen to form phosphoglyconate. Then phosphoglycolate gets converted to glycolate when one phosphate molecule is taken out from it. At that time it gets converted to glycolate, it is known from the name phosphoglycolate, gets converted to glycolate when phosphate is taken out. Then this glycolate travels to peroxisome, and in peroxisome oxygen gets inside this glycolate or gets mixed with the glycolate and takes out hydrogen out from the glycolate, had 2 hydrogen atoms from the glycolate, which catalyze to form H2O and half O2 molecule. So basically from the glycolate hydrogen is taken out and then it forms glyoxylate, as oxygen is in more amount, so glyoxylate. Now this glyoxylate is converted into glycine when glucanate goes inside the glyoxylate and alpha ketoglycerate is taken out, and then glycine is formed. Then this glycine goes to mitochondria and travels to mitochondria. Then this glycine, by a series of reaction, is converted to serine. Now what is a series of reaction? Basically NAD plus gets converted into NADH and H ion, hydrogen ion. So NAD plus converts into NADH and H ion. If you don't know what is NAD plus, I want to tell you, nicotine adenine diphosphate. It gets converted into nicotine, not diphosphate. Basically it is nicotine adenine diphosphate. So it gets converted into NADH plus H ion. And then other than that, carbon dioxide is also released in this process, and ammonia or NH3 is also released in this process. So by a series of reaction, glycine is converted into serine in mitochondria. Later on, this serine gets traveled again to peroxisome, as we have studied, first from chloroplast to peroxisome, then peroxisome to mitochondria, then mitochondria to again peroxisome. So it goes to peroxisome. There it gets converted into hydroxypyruvate. When glycolate gets converted into glycine by the same process I have defined here in this way. This one process is repeated here again. So glycine, when glycolate gets converted into glycine, then serine gets converted into hydroxypyruvate. Okay, after that this hydroxypyruvate gets converted into glycerate. when this reaction, the reverse of this one reaction takes place, as NaDH plus H ion gets converted into NAD plus. So the reverse of that reaction takes place here. Later on, this glycerate travels to chloroplast. In the chloroplast, this glycerate gets converted into 3-phosphoglycerate or PGA. Now what is this PGA? This PGA is a part, one of the, if you have seen my old video, you will come to know that the PGA is formed with the help of in the Kelvin cycle. So this PGA, from this PGA onwards, Kelvin cycle is regulated and it is continued as in the normal way. But how glycerate gets converted to 3-phosphoglycerate? This is the main thing to be noted. Basically what happens in this reaction, ATP or adenosine triphosphate gets converted to ADP or adenosine diphosphate and releases phosphates inside this to form 3-phosphoglycerate. Now how there is a loss of energy, as ATP, a lot of ATP is used in the process, and other than you can see it clearly that simply if RUBP will react with CO2, it will form phosphoglycerate and then it will continue the Kelvin cycle in direct way. If I will write in other way how it is, time is wasted, I will tell you. When it reacts with CO2, it will directly form phosphoglycerate which will continue Kelvin cycle. But in this process, first it gets reacted with O2, then it forms phosphoglycolate, then glycolate to glycerate, then glycine, and the process continues for a long amount of time, and a lot of time is being wasted on this process. So instead of the process, C4 cycle is taken place, and in the C4 cycle it is checked that oxygen doesn't react with RUBP and RUBP doesn't fixes oxygen. So in the C4 cycle, basically the main thing to be noted that in the C4 cycle, O2 never reacts with RUBP. Means RUBP and O2 will not react with each other in C4 cycle, whereas in photorespiration, otherwise if C4 cycle is not adopted by the plants, then these both will react with each other, and that will lead to a lot of loss of energy as well as a lot of loss of time, and that will be harmful for the plant and it will be wastage of energy of plant. So instead of that, C4 cycle is adopted, which will help in saving of energy of the plant. So if you like the video, please subscribe my channel. Other than that, please click the bell icon to get the notifications of the new videos. Other than that, if you like the video, click on the like button, and if there is any improvement I can do in my next videos, then please write in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.